Hi, my name is Beverly Williams, and I'm a student at Liberty University. And good evening. This is the day that the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it. I will be doing my interpersonal communication project today, and I'm going to be doing it using PowerPoint slides. And as I get ready to move from one slide to the next, I will simply say next slide. Next slide. First of all, I will tell you about my sources. The sources I've chosen to use today is a book entitled How to Solve the People Puzzle by Dr. Mel Carbonell. According to Dr. Carbonell, diversity describes the differences but does not explain why we're different. Personality types explain what we think, what we feel, and how we act as individuals. And identifying the difference is vital to the understanding of our behavior diversities. The next person is Dr. John Stewart, who wrote a book entitled Bridges, Not Walls. And Dr. Stewart defines a good listener as one who is mindful and has a wide spectrum of all listening skills. Next slide. My next resources come from Dr. James C. Peterson, who wrote the book, Why Don't We Listen Better? Dr. Peterson developed what he called TLC, listening without. And he states that we should listen without agreeing, disagreeing, advising, or defending. The next resource is Listening, The Forgotten Skill by Madeline Bertley Allen. And Allen defines listening as taking in information from speakers, other people, ourselves, while remaining non-judgmental and empathetic. Allen also states that there are 3 levels of listening. Level 1 is empathetic listening, level 2 is hearing words, and level 3 is listening in spurts. Empathetic listening is when we actually can feel and be in the person's shoes that's actually speaking. We know what the person is feeling, what they're going through. We kind of like feel it within ourselves. Hearing words is when what the person is saying has no meaning. It's just a group of words that you're hearing. You're not listening, so it doesn't mean anything. You haven't put this together and formed a relationship with what the person is saying. And listening in spurts is when you're tuning yourself in and out. You're listening this minute, the next minute you're not listening. Next slide. My next resource comes from Dr. Morris, who states that while listening was once considered an important competency, it was emphasized in general education along with written and verbal communication skills. The art of skill in listening has declined in practice and seemingly in importance in recent years. At one time, listening was very important, and during school and even when children began school, you taught the importance of listening. But now we've kind of like gone away from that because people communicate through texting and write emails and this sort of thing. So we don't seem to have as much verbal and listening communication activities going on as we used to. So the importance of it is seeming to disappear during the recent years. My next person I want to talk about is Dr. Hoover, who warns us to beware of personal bias and expectations. We need to evaluate what is being said on bias of what we hear and not what we expect to hear. Most of the time when people are talking, we'll listen and we're expecting to hear what's going to be said next. And this is what we're expecting to hear. And a lot of times we miss out on that because we don't get what we expected. Next slide. Now I'm going to tell you about Dr. Carbonell have a resource we can go to, Uniquely You, and when you take this test and it tells you about your behavior blend. Now your behavior blend is blend is one's personality and temperaments tied together according to what he called the DISC personality model. Your behavior blend describes your personality and temperaments according to how you see yourself and how others view you. Okay, my behavior blend on graph 1 was D, I, and S, what was expected of me. And my behavior blend on graphic 2 is D, I, S, C, what is me. On my higher D side, I need to learn that some control are needed. On my higher I need to learn that details are important. And on the S higher side, I need to learn that discipline is good. And C on the higher side, I need to learn that total support is not always necessary. Now my D tendency says that I'm positive, optimistic, confident, controlling, determined, and outspoken. This is what's expected of me. And being positive and confident and controlling is actually me. Now, what is unlike me on the D tendency side is being cocky, being persistent, restless and relentless and convinced. On the I, my I is I'm friendly, cordial, popular, permitting, talkative, verbal, exciting, and spirited. On the S, I'm kind, calm, caring, considerate, humble, and giving. And on the C, I'm very proper, formal, law-abiding, and preparing or researching. Now, on the C side, that is what is expected of me, but it's actually not me. Okay, next slide. I'm going to talk about my overall goal today, and my overall goal is to enlarge my conversation and become a more effective listener. And the things I will discuss during this video, mainly about enlarging my conversation and becoming an effective listener, is I will discuss some key factors on how and why I want to enlarge my conversation. I will discuss my communication barriers, the importance of listening, reasons why I don't listen better or why people don't listen better, how my behavior blend in with have influenced my conversation, and my plans to become a better listener. Next slide. Why do I want to enlarge my conversation? During my lifetime, I expect to meet people from all walks of life, and if I don't enlarge my conversation, I will be at a disadvantage. So I can understand how others think. I want to be able to maintain an open mind, and so I can know when to speak and when to listen. Next slide. Before I took this class, I often tried to change the conversation what people were having if I wasn't familiar with what the subject was, instead of going on listening to what was being said and gaining knowledge. Before this class, if I couldn't change the conversation, I always tried to act as if I was familiar with what was being discussed. And I was often found myself agreeing when I really shouldn't have been. Next slide. Now, after taking this class, I realized that I don't have to know something about everything. I don't have to know know something about everything. I've learned that it's important to listen to what is being said and to gain knowledge. I understand now that I don't have to agree or disagree. I also understand that even though I don't know, it's not always a bad thing. And I've also learned that I should not give advice because it's not always wanted. Next slide. My communication barriers. Okay, my communication barriers are on the physical side. There means that the doors are closed and I'm not open to be able to listen and take in what is being said. On the perceptive side, those are my internal instincts. Emotional side, that means that you have a fear of words. And the cultural, you're clashing and you're often misunderstood. On the language is self-inherited. And on the gender side, it's different thoughts that come about between the male and the female, how we think and act differently. And the interpersonal barrier, it stops us from reaching out and opening doors. Next slide. Listening and conversating. Listening is important in every conversation. Listening is just important as speaking. You should never interrupt the speaker, and stay focused on what is being said. Next slide. Why wasn't I listening better? I wasn't listening better because I wasn't staying focused on what was being said. I was too anxious to speak. I was interrupting the speaker before they was completing what they had to say. I was hearing what was being said instead of listening to what was being said. I often thought I knew what was going to be said next and missed out on what was actually being said. And I just wasn't paying attention. Next slide. If you have goals, then you must also have a plan. And I've created a plan for myself to enlarge my conversation and to become a more effective listener. And my plans include I will improve my listening skills. And how will I do that? I will do that by not interrupting the speaker. I will stay focused on what is being said and give the speaker my undivided attention. And I will listen without giving advice. The second thing I will do, I will work on my communication barriers, especially the cultural side, the physical side, and the impersonal side. Lastly, I will continue to learn how to enlarge my conversation and become a more effective listener at every chance I get. I will spend more time being considerate about people when they're speaking. And overall, I would just be every opportunity I will have to get to learn more about being an effective listener and being a better communicator, I would take that opportunity. I would like to say thank you for taking a moment out to listen to my video, look at my video, and interact with me as I did my interpersonal communication project. I have enjoyed this, and I hope that you have enjoyed it, and I hope that you have gained some type of knowledge in some way, and somehow this will help you to better your communication skills, become a better listener, and overall enlarge your conversation on an overall level. Once again, I'm Beverly Williams, and thank you, and have a blessed day.